There were some balls flying this past weekend.
A lot of balls.
A lot of balls.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
A lot of balls flying around and a lot of balls being caught.
Wow.
And most of them were caught by wide receivers.
Oh, we're talking about football. Okay.
Well,
we're kind of getting a little confused there.
Which podcast are we?
We're just talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, you never know. All right.
So, yeah, we had this weekend featured a lot of huge days from wide receivers. I'll start with a few. Of course, Fuller with his, almost record-breaking day. You know, 217, I think, and three touchdowns.
Yeah. 14 catches out of 16.
Well, yeah, 14. That was the crazy thing about
87.5%. 78. That's crazy.
That's a lot of targets, obviously.
And that's a guy that's supposedly just a speedster.
Right.
Catches bombs.
Right.
You know, hit or miss, D-Jacks kind of guy. No.
And a guy that's
16.
Right. And a guy that had been consistently a miss to start this season. And really, the only thing you ever worried about with Fuller was his health.
Yep.
You know, there was a slight concern that because of, Kiki Kuti. Well, yeah, and then the Still signing closer to the start of the season or the trade. But really with Fuller, you always thought, hey, if he's healthy, he's gonna be producing, and he hadn't been. And then all of a sudden this game,
he made up for it very quickly.
Yeah, I guess we can do these one at a time. Let me just quickly ask you on Fuller. Are you buying this? Is this something that you think is a fluke? And
I think the 14 to 16 Fuller is a fluke.
Yeah.
But I think that if you remember last week, Watson overthrew him by about 8 inches on a 50-yard bomb where he was way past the guy. So the bottom line is Watson's got the arm, and he can make his own time behind that bad, shoddy line. And Fuller is electric. He's fast. He's big. Usually fast guys are small. He's a big fast guy. Pretty good size. So I think that he's going to be impactful the rest of the way. He's not going to do this. This is incredible. This is
right.
Mike Evans did this a few weeks ago, and then we haven't really heard from him. So yeah, he's not going to be this. Yeah, and Hopkins, he hasn't gotten going really. He had a 15.
Hasn't gotten going.
Yeah, he's the consensus #1 this year, and he's not hurt. He and Watson have an amazing connection. I don't understand what's happening with that. Defense is just trying to take him out. We'll see.
That's the whole thing. Defenses must be selling out on taking him out.
But haven't they always been doing that?
Right, yeah. Right. How is Michael Thomas, just keep doing what he does? And so it just, I find it hard to believe that it's because defenses are, it took till this year for defenses, you know what?
Maybe we should cover that guy. Maybe we should put a second guy on him.
Right.
But you're always, no matter what Fuller does, they're always going to double team. So to answer your question, I think Fuller, this is an eye opening for the coach and for Watson. Like, man, we do have a monster in Fuller.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And they're not going to be able to, like Juju last year with Antonio Brown. You have to put the 2 on Antonio. You got to go with the #1.
Oh, absolutely.
So this guy is going to, and he's a speedster, and he just showed he could be a possession guy, 14 to 16. So yeah, I like Fuller the rest of the way. I think he's a good wide receiver 2. He's obviously showed upside to wide receiver 1.
You mentioned Mike Evans. Mike Evans, of course, had a very down game. So now, yeah,
a 0.
No, that's right, a 0.
A 0.
A 0.
On the Tampa Bay offense.
I want potato.
You'll get nothing and like it.
We mentioned last week that he was bailed out from, it was a 67-yard touchdown on a blown coverage. Yep. It wasn't that, he made some,
great
spectacular play or something. So you take that touchdown away, it's another, goose egg, not a goose egg, but another,
pretty close to a goose egg.
Right, three or 4 catches. I think he would have ended up with.
You don't want. That's the thing about fantasy. You want consistency. You want guys that go out there. Even what Hopkins did this week. I think he had 7 catches for 85 yards. That's a 15.5. If your guys just give you that every single week,
he didn't kill you.
At the end of the season, that's like 250 points. Yeah. You're fine with that. But when they do this. Huge, it drives you crazy.
Absolutely.
And when you get to the playoffs, you got to win 3 in a row in a lot of cases, unless you have a bye week. And to win 3 in a row, you need consistency.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Even guys like Tyreek Hill, like when they hit, they miss. They hit, they miss. They drive you crazy. So I don't like those guys. I like the guys that are consistent. So we'll see.
Speaking of consistency, I think you're going to like
Tampa Bay.
I was going to say, I think you're going to like the guy, the other wide receiver in Tampa Bay. We touched a little bit on him last week. Chris Godwin had himself a heck of a game as well.
Even the nights are better now that we're here together. Even the nights are better since I found you.
Tell the people about your boy Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin has been on fire. He came into this year with a lot of hype, and then people started saying the hype got a little bit out of control. He started creeping up into the early 4th round.
It felt like that was too much.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
And I was like, you know what? I don't know if he's going to be quite. It's still the Evans show, and they still got O.J. Howard. Godwin has been so consistent. He's like the Cooper Kupp of this team.
I think he's had one down game, but
yeah, I mean, whatever. Everybody has that. I mean, nobody's had 5 in a row.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this guy is, really putting up some big numbers, consistent, not just catches, yards, over 100 almost every week, and touchdowns. He's getting in the end zone. So, yeah, I really like what I'm seeing out of Godwin, and I think that he is the new number 1 on that team, and you can't argue that at this point. I don't care what Evans was coming into the season. I don't care if he's 6'5", 230 pounds. Chris Godwin is better fit for whatever Arians and Winston are doing right now, period. You got to love Godwin right now. You got to love him.
Godwin or Hopkins the rest of the way?
I mean, oh, Jesus. It's tough one. It's so hard to not have.
I hate to put you on the spot.
You want?
Damn. We're in a tight spot.
What in the Sam Hill?
Pete's cousin turned us in for the bounty.
The hell you say? Wallace is kin.
Sorry, Pete. I know we're kin, but they got this depression on. How I got to do for me and mine?
Miserable, horse-eating son.
You want to put your confidence that Hopkins is going to figure it out, but I would just go with the guy that's proving that it's working. Right now, whatever is not working in Houston is working in Tampa. I would just go with Godwin right now, and I know that's crazy, but I would go with Shark over Adams.
You are one crazy son of a bitch.
I would just go with the guy that's getting it done every week rather than a team that's just not making it work with throwing the ball. So, yeah, wow. I would go Godwin. I don't think this is going to end.
Yeah, and the good thing about Tampa Bay, as we know, is the defense. I don't think the defense is that good. It looked okay, and it's but I think it's a decent defense, but certainly not good enough where you would expect a lot of weeks where Tampa Bay is going to be in control and so in control of a game that they're not going to need to throw. Right, so you like that as well. Whereas some of these other teams with these elite number 1s, the issue a lot of times can be that the defense is really solid. They don't find themselves trailing, or they have enough of a lead where they can just run the ball. I don't think you have to worry too much about that when it comes to Tampa. Cooper Kupp. So
the Godwin of the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, coming off torn ACL, he was gonna, of course, need time to build back up, and he was gonna have a down year, and it was
he was gonna be blah. Yeah. He was gonna be a blah.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay.
And Woods would be the number 1.
It's gonna be Woods. It's gonna be Cooks,
and he would still get his possession stuff. He's a top 10 the rest of the way. I mean, he and Godwin are perfect examples of guys that you got in the 4 to 6 round range, and are now top 10 receivers.
Absolutely.
That's all there is to it.
It's like I want to go back and do every single draft and just, say I'm going to not target a wide receiver until 4th or 5th round.
Talk about the future. No!
Yeah.
And then,
if you got those two guys, you'd be leading your league in receiving right now.
Right. You got
and you could have taken running backs the first 3. You could have thrown in a tight end, which you wouldn't have done too well with that, really, because Kelsey's not doing all that much, and Ertz has not scored a touchdown in 5 weeks. It's kind of crazy.
Ertz scored finally.
Did he score finally?
Yeah, he scored against the Jets.
Ertz did score. Finally, took 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Hey, it is about time. I mean, I just couldn't get the ball in the hole. I wanted to, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is not who we thought he was. I'm starting to think he's not. He's not an Edelman. He's not so reception dependent.
Right.
I mean, he's putting up touchdowns on a very consistent pace.
Yeah, he's a red zone beast.
Big plays.
He was always a good red zone guy. And now he's just the red zone guy. And so, no, but I love him. I love Cooper Kupp. I love Godwin. And I would take those guys. I would buy them if you can get them. If you have them, start them every week. Do not look at any matchups. Just put them in your lineup.
Quick note on Cooper. That's 4 straight 100-yard games.
Yeah.
And 4 TDs in those 4 games. And then you think about, I think it was week 2, the week 2 game where he had the huge run. And he was, tackled just short of the end zone. That could have been 5 touchdowns. So, absolutely, gotta love what Cooper Kupp's doing.
'Cause you are my lady, and I am your man.
Michael Thomas, Mr. Consistency, Captain Consistency, whatever you want to call him. Huge day with Teddy B behind center, 182 and 2 touchdowns, 11 of 13. So just what's interesting to me is that the assumption that we all made when Breeze went down is that they're just going to rely very heavily on Kamara. And I was on record as saying I was a little bit worried about Thomas because I figured they would just lean heavily on Kamara. That Teddy, they would just ask to do, kind of manage the game, dump off passes. Now, you made the point that Michael Thomas does, he can run those short routes.
Yeah, that's what he runs. He's not a speedster, yeah.
Right. So, but I just assume that, with the attention, we just talked about defenses putting all their attention on a 1 and taking him out.
Yep.
Well, then look at New Orleans. Who's the 2? Who else is threatening other than Michael Thomas? So it just didn't seem like this, it seemed like this was going to be a rough stretch. He hasn't missed a beat. He's just so good. He obviously just understands how to run routes, how to get open. If you had to redraft again right now, would Michael Thomas be
He'd
one?
be number 1 for me.
Just because of his consistency almost?
Yeah. I think he's number 1 because, like you said, there's nobody else on that team that catches the ball outside of a running back.
Right.
But as far as receivers and tight ends, he's the only guy. I mean, Jared Cook caught a touchdown this week and did something finally.
Hey, by the way, yes, congratulations.
Unbelievable.
Congratulations.
But I was patient for that. But no, Michael Thomas is amazing at you see all these other teams like Julio's got Sanu and he's got Ridley and he's got Hooper and everybody, Hopkins has got Fuller and Stills and all these other guys have to share, but he's got nobody. Even OBJ's got Landry, who we forget about how good Landry is, and Njoku and Callaway. He's all by himself. Ted Ginn, come on, there's nothing else there.
Right.
So the fact that defenses can't take him out as the only weapon other than Kamara is just staggering. It just blows my mind.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
You send that many, don't forget one thing.
What?
A good supply of body bags.
So is he that good? I know at Breeze, the thing about Breeze is he is probably the most accurate passer ever. Right. We're in the conversation.
Right.
He beat an archer one time in an accuracy contest, throwing at targets. I mean, it's insane how accurate he is.
Drew has already hit an amazing 6 out of 6 bullseyes, which means if he doesn't hit another one, he's still more accurate than an Olympic archer. Drew's hit 9 out of 9. Can he run the table and hit a perfect 10 out of 10? To give you an idea of just how accurate Drew was, amazingly, 4 of his 20-yard darts hit in the dead center of the bullseye. And Olympic archers? They hit the dead center only once out of every 10 arrows.
So with him, I understood it. I don't understand it with Bridgewater. He is not a very accurate passer. He's still 11 of 13 to this guy for 182 and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, Michael Thomas, number 1 receiver, safest, just the only guy. He's not going to have his safety. Floor is so high. Right. He doesn't put up the 0 Evans does.
He's never. He's never going to kill you.
Right.
Never going to kill you. We touched on him a little bit. Shark Attack.
Daddy Shark, do-do-do-do-do, Daddy Shark, do-do. DJ Shark. DJ Shark. DJ Shark.
Shark Attack. It's real. DJ Shark. Huge game. 8 catches off 11 targets, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Actually barely missed out on another touchdown.
Yeah, one of the best plays I've seen all year. Amazing.
Minshew going to take a deep shot for Shark again. Adjustment, and he is down at the 2. They're giving him credit for the catch.
To the ground with the ball.
I think he was trying to reach out for the pylon while getting those feet down.
Yeah.
So I think we both agree. It's real.
It's real.
I mean, there's no more debate, right? No, this isn't a debate anymore. It's nothing.
It's over, and I think people are going to continue to underplay this guy and to undersell him and to say, it's Jacksonville. Is this guy Minshew really going to? Minshew's for real.
You feel me?
Gutsy. They got a running game. They got a good deal. Listen, this is for real. This is his target. He goes to this guy every time.
Right.
It's unbelievable. It's like Michael Thomas. They just feed him the ball, and he's not disappointing. He's catching everything in sight. He's making
He's making great catches. I mean, he's really
his hands he looks so polished. He looks like a third-year receiver breaking out. He's a second year.
Right.
And I'll tell you, man, this is a guy that, he's the real deal, and he should have had a 40 this week. He had 34 points. Oh, yeah, by the way, I mean, the first time since 1965 that we've had 5 players score over 40 points.
Yeah.
Or 6 players, I should say. It was Watson, Fuller, McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, and Chark, if he caught that. If that was a touchdown, an inch away, there would have been 7 guys that scored 40 or more points, which is incredible. So,
man, I was up against McCaffrey and McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I mean, just this
I was
guy.
up against McCaffrey and Fuller and Watson in one game. It was just crazy.
So lift your eyes if you feel you can. Reach for a star and I'll show you man. I figured it out. What I needed was some.
Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you touched on your boy Coop. Amari Cooper, 11-14, 226 and a touch.
Just been consistent.
Yeah,
man.
I was going to say consistent.
He started out last year, it took a little while, and he got going at the end of the year. Now he's getting going at the beginning of the year. I mean, this could be a career year. Now it's going to be a career year.
Yeah, it already
if he
is.
doesn't get hurt. I mean, he's got some issues with his foot. I don't know what's going on with that. He limped off the field. But anyway, if he stays healthy, his connection with Prescott is unbelievable. He was on a very, very good cornerback this week that people said, temper your expectations. He just schooled this guy the whole game.
Yeah, listen, I remember Amari Cooper. I remember when he came out, I was such a fan of his. I think I had him his rookie year, which was up until now probably his best year. I think it was his rookie year. And I remember watching his games and saying, wow, this kid's really good. He's just, route runner, all that. And then all of a sudden, the consistency issue started happening. Yep. And it was, why? Why is it that Amari Cooper just disappears these games? And you start to wonder, is it the offense? Is it injury? Yeah. Is it Carr? You were constantly searching for these answers, and I think it led into this season. I was one of those owners that said, I don't want to take the chance.
Right.
I don't want to take the chance on that guy who, yes, I know he's going to have some good weeks, but is so capable of completely disappearing. He hasn't done that yet. No, all he's doing is going out there and looking like he did when he was a rookie. When people forget, he was drafted very high.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Coming out of college, he was a highly drafted guy.
He was definitely the number 1 receiver taken that year. But, I mean, it was like he had almost like the Julio hype as far as how good he was in college, how good he could be in the NFL. Comes out his rookie year, shows it.
Yep.
And then just after 2 seasons of a lot of disappointment for fantasy owners, he becomes a great value this year. Even though after going to Dallas last year, and his ending in Dallas was fine. I mean, so it was surprising to see him go maybe 4th round probably this year.
Yeah, he was 4th round. And he was a little banged up in preseason. And people, like you said, they just weren't sure if last year was a fluke. And no. Amari Cooper, real deal.
Other than that, I think that covered all the big ball catchers, from this weekend. Liftoff.
Wow.
Liftoff. What do you think when you hear the words liftoff?
Jimmy Garoppolo with porn stars.
Well, we'll get into that.
The New Jersey Jets.
The New Jersey Jets.
The New Jersey Jets.
I was speaking of the New York Jets, but sure, either one works.
Do they play in New York?
I think we've already, covered that. I think we've gotten your full.
I think we
thoughts
should be
on-
more accurate with our fans
right.
and call them the New Jersey Jets, the Meadowland Jets.
The Meadowland Jets.
All right, so the Jets, take off.
Take off.
They're about to take off.
Jets. Jets take off, right? So the question is, well, I mean, not all the time. Sometimes they just sit on the runway.
Yeah, sometimes they just
do
sit there
nothing.
in the
Sometimes
circle.
they crash and burn.
Yeah, sometimes they land in the Hudson. I mean, things happen with Jets.
Lots of things, right? But when you have a good pilot, it can often help. Now, the Jets have not had much of a pilot, and as far as, of course, I'm using the analogy of a pilot and a quarterback. I don't know if you caught that.
I was wondering. Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to coach your quarterback there. Okay, so quarterback, yep.
Well, I guess coach too, but I'm going to start. I'm going to say the quarterback's the pilot.
Right.
Coach is like air traffic controller. So if your air traffic controller is showing up, drunk and high off his ass,
yeah,
not good.
That's not good.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Quarterback Sam Darnold
News came out.
He's gonna start this week.
Right.
Look, this Jets offense has been completely grounded without him.
Ooh.
It's been dreadful. They've had some tough matchups, but regardless, I mean,
The worst offense.
Every skill position player has suffered drastically. I mean, Bell, salvageable days.
Blah, flex performances. Right.
But guys like Robbie Anderson, Crowder,
completely non-existent.
But not only is Darnold obviously going to be playing this week, and he's back healthy. You got Chris Herndon is back with the team and starting.
Should be starting, if he shows him something.
Right, according to
Adam Gase.
Let's just get right into it. Okay, so we know that obviously there's optimism in New Jersey based off the fact that Darnold's coming back. So there's optimism in Jersey. There's optimism amongst the fantasy community that guys like Crowder, Robbie Anderson, Herndon, some of these guys, Lev Bell, of course, may start to have some fantasy relevance again. But talk more specifically about your boy Adam Gase.
Oh, geez.
What he's doing. I mean, you touched on it. So Chris Herndon, who looked really good at the end of last year, looked great in the preseason, right? You have, I don't even know who's playing tight end for them right now.
I don't either. I have no idea.
And he comes out and he says, "Oh, we're gonna have to see how he does in practice," or makes some kind of comment like, what is it? Why is Adam Gase such a DB? Like,
did
he earn this?
No, some guys just ride the coattails of like Peyton Manning, for example, which is where he got his fame. When you're the offensive coordinator for guys like Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or whatever, I think you could just ride their coattails and say, "Oh, this guy must be a really good coach."
Right.
There was another guy that was the Aaron Rodgers offensive coordinator. He went to the Dolphins as the head coach for like 2 or 3 seasons. They finally fired
Philbin.
Yeah, Philbin. There you go. There's a perfect example. Who the hell is Joe Philbin?
Where is Joe Philbin?
Where is he right now? His family doesn't even know where. His wife didn't even put a missing person. She didn't even give a shit. She's just like, get out of here. Like, you might get life insurance. No, just get him out. Just. So anyway, Philbin's a bum. He had one good year with Rodgers, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, he must be good." No, he's not good. Rodgers is good, and same thing with Adam Gase.
So you're saying that year that Peyton Manning had like the 50 times, had that. That wasn't because of Adam Gase.
No, it was not. It had nothing.
That
to do
was
with Adam
just
Gase.
because of Peyton Manning and Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, he had some good, some guys to throw the ball to. But Adam Gase is a guy that got a job based on a couple of decent years with Jay Cutler and Peyton Manning. He had a couple of decent years as a coordinator. They gave him a job in Miami. He crashed and burned miserably. He thought Tannehill was a quarterback for years, just couldn't pull the plug. And then they reward him with the Jets job. He goes to the Jets. And yeah, you can't give him too much crap because Darnold's been out, but it hasn't looked. And then he goes and says, "Oh, Herndon's got to show me something. He's got to show." You know, he's just a clown. He's another one of these clowns. There's a lot of room on the wagon for Adam Gase. He's a skinny little clown, but he was. I think Emmanuel Sanders said that he would say the F-bomb like 30, 40 times every meeting. Like, he's just one of those guys that he just tries to be like a tough guy, and he tries to be cool.
Those girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Oh, Herndon's got to show me something. Right. What are you talking about? Right. The guy's back. Put him in the lineup.
You're winless.
Let's go.
You're winless.
Yeah.
And, you know, right.
Yeah.
You have your, I don't want to say, okay, fine, he's not some all-pro or whatever, but the bottom line is, based off of what we saw from him at the end of last year and what we saw in the preseason, he's a massive upgrade off of over anything 100%. That you have on the field right now at that position.
Let's go. All hands on deck. Let's go. Let's try to win some games. You know, I'm excited about the team. I think that they have a lot of weapons. I think Darnold's going to take a week to get back into the flow. So I wouldn't start any of their guys this week, except maybe Bell, of course. But, yeah, going forward, I think Robbie Anderson, Crowder had that, 15, 17 targets, whatever it was with game one. I think they're going to get back to that. Adam Gase is a he's a wimp. He likes to throw the short passes to the underneath receivers. So I like Crowder going forward. I think Anderson's got some upside, and I like Herndon a lot once Gase sees what he needs to see to prove that he deserves to be on the field over some bum that's starting right now. Like, come on, Gase. Enough with your ego. Just put the guys on the field and let them play the game.
And just get out of the way.
Just get out of the way. Just disappear like Philbin. Just go with him into wherever
just give your headset to Jay Gruden.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Another option.
Go to New York. Oh my God.
Jay's got options. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Get a humble, nice guy like Jay in there. The hell with this egomaniac Adam Gase.
Yeah, Crowder. Crowder's a guy that could be on a lot of waivers. So maybe not. Not a bad idea.
PPR, absolutely love
speculate if you got the bench space or whatever.
I pick him up now. Yeah, pick him up now.
Yeah. I mean, who do they play this week? Do they have any? I can't remember who the Jets are up against. But
I don't really pay attention to who the Jets play very often. But you got to figure even in game one, Darnold getting his feet wet, what is he going to do? Throw the ball deep to Anderson? No, he's going to throw it to Crowder underneath. Mm-hmm. He's going to throw a lot of screen passes to Bell. So they should have good games. I would consider starting them as flexes if you have a bye week issue.
Yeah. Like I say, if you held on to any of them, one more week. If not, maybe see if you can just throw out some, throw out an offer on like a Robbie Anderson. You're probably not going to have to pay much, and I think that you have the potential. I think maybe people are forgetting. You had a really, really nice finish.
Oh, the finish to the end of the year last year, and he and Darnold would definitely had a connection going.
We'll see what that turns into.
All right, good luck, Gase.
Yeah, good luck, Gase.
You don't even know what you're talking about, so it's hard for me to defend anything when you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you don't.